Story 1. After I realized that a relationship needs to be mutual, I understood that I shouldn't spend time on people who do not feel the same way I do. If you put in the effort and receive nothing in return, it is not worth it. Instead, focus on activities you enjoy. Spend time outdoors and engage in something fun, get into working out, or learn something new. Just choose a healthy activity you enjoy and go do it. Story 2. Giving myself the time to grieve allows me to recognize how much of my pain stems from my own expectations of the person rather than the reality of who they are and the choices they made. I schedule supportive conversations with a good friend, journal about my emotions, and above all, I give myself time. Story 3. Last July, I started walking around my block to reduce anxiety after my separation. I found that the tightness in my chest diminished after walking at a quick pace. This evolved into jogging certain sections of my walk, which then progressed to jogging around the block, and eventually it led to jogging multiple laps around my block. By December, I completed my first half marathon, and in 6 weeks, I will run my first marathon. The long training runs have been amazing for my physical and mental health. I have also had a lot of time for self-reflection and to think about ways to improve myself and what is truly important in my life. Story 4. I went through a life-shifting breakup a few years ago that rearranged me on an atomic level. As far as distractions, try new things that don't intersect with any of your past shared interests for now. You can return to those hobbies when the weight of your emotions doesn't send you into a tailspin every time you hear a certain song or play a certain game. It feels terrible to abandon those things that make you feel like yourself, but it's not permanent. It might be years before you come back around, but eventually you will. A significant breakup can feel like a symbolic ego death when your entire identity is interwoven with another's. If you're anything like me, you may cling to an identity that you still want to exist. But without that other person, you are no longer on the same trajectory, and you'd be cheating yourself of growth if you don't explore new ways of living. This means don't seek to date people who are a carbon copy of your ex, hoping to fill their void. This is especially true if you've had a habit of pedestalizing your ex. It's not fair to a new partner, and they'll never live up to the person with whom you developed a deep bond over the years. There are exceptions, but you might be setting yourself up for a longer grieving process when the honeymoon phase ends. Removing your ex's presence entirely is a good thing. My ex initiated this. Block or delete on all social media or anything that can be used as a means of contact, other than email or phone, if respectful boundaries are upheld. Don't torture yourself by seeing them living life in moving pictures. I absolutely hated it and felt more abandoned when I peeked at her social media, seeing my messages left unread. I thought she was my best friend, my soulmate, but I understand now that it took me a few months to stop reaching out. In my case, I wish it had been done more tactfully instead of feeling like a punishment or ghosting. The upside of no contact is that it's easier not to burn any bridges or act out of emotion with that wall up. It allows you to maintain your dignity while grieving. A more appropriate approach in my case would have been to initiate no contact in a loving way, if possible. Something more ceremonious or honorable to the relationship, assuming it was a good one. Agree to reconnect in 3 months, next year, or next life, whatever works. But if one person is anxious and wants to set a date, then do so. Wish each other well and stick to it. It feels fundamentally wrong, based on everything Hollywood tells us about chasing the one who got away. But in reality, if there's any chance of rebuilding, you'll find each other. If not, it wasn't meant to be anyway. I had so many what-if rebuttals when I faced this, but it's true. You could try to expedite it and pull them back into your life, but the fact is, they left or you ended it. Whatever the circumstance, it is what it is, and they'll have to navigate the feelings of your absence the same way you navigate theirs. If you never hear from them again, then perhaps you weren't meant to be. Hopefully, by the time you realize it, you'll have moved on as well. Story 5. Time crying, working out until I couldn't feel emotions, talking to friends, family, and a therapist, watching movies, reading books, more time, sleeping, dating other people, and then some more time. Repeat as needed. Story 6. Processing what I am feeling, even when it is not comfortable. The longer you avoid it, the longer it takes, in my opinion. Story 7. Find new interests, new activities, and eventually make new friends. Avoid medicating yourself with alcohol and other substances. Do not, I repeat, do not seek a new relationship immediately. Understand that healing from a breakup, like healing from any deep wound, takes time. I am sorry you are hurting. Story 8. Music helped me immensely. Find songs that resonate with you and immerse yourself in them. The only way out is through. Story 9. Time truly is the best thing. Unfortunately, that takes time, which can be tough. However, finding distractions like hobbies and spending time with friends can be helpful. I have also found that writing when you are feeling down can help you express your thoughts and emotions. You can write for yourself without anyone needing to read it. The process of writing can be cathartic. Story 10. Treat your ex like radioactive fallout. And how do we stay safe from radioactive fallout? Distance, shielding, and time. Distance, stay away from them or anywhere they are likely to be. Find a new social group, a new club, a new bar, whatever it takes. Shielding, do not contact them. Block their number on your phone and block them on social media. Seriously, go no contact or you will just invite more pain. Time. Give yourself time to heal and let the absence of encountering your ex, even digitally, become the new norm. With that system in place, get out and meet other people. Your ex might be great, but you would be surprised at how many other candidates there are who you will get along with just as well, if not better. And remember, your ex is likely moving on with their life and not thinking about you. Do not pine, do not whine, and you will be just fine. Story 11. Just take your time. It's okay to cry and feel down for as long as you need to. One day, it just won't feel as bad. It still hurts sometimes, but it isn't constant like it is when the pain is fresh. Story 12. My friend called and asked, "Are we making plans tonight?" I replied, "No." He said, "Okay, good. I'll see you at 8. Wear your gym clothes." He helped me get back to a normal life and in shape. I am forever grateful. Story 13. Learning it's okay to feel heartbreak and sit with it for a while. This gives you time to process and then continue to focus on yourself. Also, consider all the things already mentioned. Story 14. I shared nearly every hobby and passion of mine with my ex over the almost 8 years we were together. There wasn't much left in my life that didn't have her woven into it, so it was incredibly hard to feel good doing any of those things alone again. The best thing I did was explore new hobbies. I got into golf and made some friends through it. I played more tennis and made a few tennis friends. I read different books and discovered various music. This was enough to create a new version of myself that isn't associated with the old relationship, but I still love those old hobbies. They all carry a certain ache that is reminiscent of grieving the death of a loved one. You just learn to live with it, and eventually it becomes easier to revisit without spiraling into a hole again. Story 15. Breaking down the reality of it all and truly sitting with my emotions is essential. You can try to distract yourself with various hobbies, but in the long run, the most beneficial thing you can do for yourself is to process your feelings and truly feel them. It's not bad to cry over a breakup, and it's okay to do so multiple times. Once you start to analyze the relationship, understand why it ended, how it reached that point, and where you are now, you will begin to heal and learn how to move forward. Story 16. I am over it now, but if I could go back and redo it, I would have accepted what I was feeling. I cried for her a couple of times, but most of the time I suppressed my feelings. Looking back, I should have just let it all out. I would not have gone on numerous dates to try to forget her. I felt empty, and none of those other women could fill the void. It was too soon after the breakup to be doing that. As others mentioned, I needed to learn to be alone and not jump into another relationship without healing. I tried not to search for what she was up to. My ex moved on quickly after our breakup, and I dug too deep and found out a lot of information about her new partner and how they have a history together. I should have continued doing things I enjoyed when we were together. For example, I stopped watching certain shows and YouTube channels. As I healed, I was able to watch the things we used to enjoy together. And the big one, therapy has helped me so much. Story 17. Accepting that it is over is the first step to moving forward. You may go through this process many times, but stay strong, and you will eventually come out on the other side. Story 18, friends and a lot of self-care. I started taking weekly baths, indulging myself with a bath bomb, a good movie or book, and a glass of wine. I also began going out and doing whatever I wanted to do, all the things my ex would never have done with me. I have been having a blast and made some incredible memories that I would have missed out on. Story 19. Friends, family, and long walks exploring new places are important. Try to visit new locations and engage in new activities to create fresh experiences without dwelling on past memories. Story 20. Well, I have been getting over heartbreak, and what helped me is music, journaling my feelings, and meditation. Just being present and exploring new hobbies has also been beneficial. Honestly, it's okay to feel what you feel and to be present with your emotions, but you should continue with your routine afterward. Story 21. Spending time with people who make me laugh, immersing myself in enjoyable activities, reconnecting with my past self before the relationship and heartbreak, and establishing new routines and habits takes time. I sincerely apologize. Story 22. In the first few weeks, I really focused on acknowledging my feelings and allowing them to surface. I tried my best not to let it explode onto everything and everyone around me, which had varying success. I had a week where I couldn't work on anything without thinking of her or a memory every 5 to 15 minutes. Self-sabotage would occur naturally until I forced myself to take a step back and realize that my actions were hurting me. I followed this by forgiving myself and being kind and compassionate toward myself. Toward the latter end, I delved into why it didn't work, what to do and look for next time, and trusting that it would work out in the end, whether through my own belief or faith in a higher plan. I focused on internalizing who I am and what I bring to the table, examining who she is without rose-tinted glasses, and contemplating questions like, is this really a characteristic of someone I would want to spend my life with? Or, is it worth my time and pain to be so hung up on someone who... I am still somewhat in this phase, but I truly see the horizon. Throughout this entire process, I made sure to hold myself accountable for my actions and also for things I should and shouldn't be doing while healing. I avoided looking at social media, pictures, or any memory triggers which took time to manage. I recognize that I don't have control over initial thoughts, but I do have control over whether I spiral into them. I rediscovered activities that bring me joy, talked to my friends about it, as they offered perspectives I couldn't see myself, and embraced the mindset of fake it till I make it. I also actively worked on areas where I could improve, both as a person and as a partner. Story 23. The realization that I have no worth and do not add value to someone's life confirms that I should make sacrifices for someone more deserving of life. Story 24. For me, it was definitely about focusing on self-care. Doing things I love, spending time with friends, and getting lost in hobbies. Additionally, I allowed myself to feel my emotions without rushing the process. Story 25. Besides the normal emotions we experience during a breakup, I remained consistent with my work and workouts. If you haven't started yet, invest in yourself by working out. I ended a 16-year relationship with my long-term girlfriend after she cheated on me last January. I left and never looked back. Story 26. My late daughter's Chiweenie is so sweet. He asks to be picked up and sits on my lap. During the first year after my daughter passed away, he rested his head on my shoulder because he knew I needed it. If I cry, he comes to me and gives me many kisses. Story 27. Not talking about them at all, even in negative contexts. Avoiding their friends' stories, not hearing about them, unfollowing them and removing them from followers. Not listening to music or seeing things that remind me of them. Listening to music or watching films where the guy feels bad for hurting the girl or realizes he is wrong. Not watching reels, and avoiding music for heartbroken people because it makes you feel like one and often worsens the situation as you try to relate to. I also have pride and respect for myself. My family and friends have really supported me, and I am starting new hobbies, going out, and meeting new people. As time passes, it gets even better. Story 28. Long motorcycle rides across the open desert, with a waterproof shelter and an open flame grilled cheeseburger calling my name. Story 29. Focus on yourself, engage in self-development, and dedicate time to doing the things you want to achieve in your life. Story 30. As a determined man, speaking helped. You will likely find that many others have been in similar situations. Story 31. Sitting with and facing my feelings and mistakes instead of fighting them has been helpful. Talking about it was beneficial, but it ultimately came down to me and my thoughts. I had to be brutally honest with myself while also being compassionate enough to forgive myself, as long as I learn from my mistakes and do not repeat them. Story 32. Why do you want to be with someone who doesn't want to be with you? Learn to value yourself first. Traveling and seeing the world will give you a different perspective on life, showing you that there are many more people out there. Story 33. Leaning on friends and family and finding activities, big or small, that help you feel good is important. Little wins, such as going on a short trip, having game night with friends, or going to the gym, have been beneficial for me. Story 34. To be completely cut off from the real world and immerse myself in literature, anime, and movies. Story 35. Acceptance of reality. The Serenity Prayer. God, give me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Story 36. Acceptance of reality. The Serenity Prayer. God, give me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Story 37. Time in music. To a lesser extent, reading, but time and music were the most impactful for me. A bit of space between her and me contributed significantly to my growth. We stopped working together and I stopped seeing her 2 or 3 times a week. Story 38. Time. No amount of words or actions helped me much. I just had to wait to get used to the pain. Story 39. I realize I am an unusual person, and it is unrealistic to think I will find someone who does not lie or cheat. Story 40. Writing about it through song lyrics and journaling. You will know you have moved on when you want to find someone else. Story 41. When my ex tried to stage a breakup without telling me, as his parents disliked me, I knew it was over. All love for him faded, and I felt angry. Honestly, I still am. When we got back together to rebuild, he broke up with me and claimed I cheated when I didn't. Then he got mad at me when I didn't take him back. It was fun at the start of our relationship, but everything tumbled downhill. I confided in his best friend, who later became my new boyfriend, and he was great to talk to. This friend was also my ex's therapist, and many confided in him when they had problems. I sent him songs and he recommended others. What helped me the most was his support when I broke down. Get some good music and someone to talk to. Story 42. Knowing she met a guy who treated her poorly after she claimed I did, only for her to return so I can slam the door shut in her face. Story 43. You need to stop all connections completely. If you are experiencing withdrawal, consider finding companionship to help you cope. This approach may not necessarily help you overcome the heartbreak, but it can prevent you from attempting to reconcile with your ex, similar to how methadone aids in heroin addiction recovery. Story 44. The understanding that my love for this person means wanting their happiness, even if it is not with me. I guess it helped bring a sense of closure, despite the sadness of not being a part of their life anymore. Story 45. I'm 3 months out of a really bad heartbreak, and my advice is to establish a routine. Gym, yoga, healthy eating, but also lots of ice cream, walks, and books. I started weight training so I'd be physically exhausted and wouldn't spiral. Just remind yourself that it will get easier, and if they were the person you thought, they wouldn't have left like they did. It's also okay to process and feel, but try not to obsess. Give yourself a designated time each day to think about it. Then try to stop the thoughts. Mantras help. Remember that the future is exciting, and all you can control are your own actions. Block them on social media and ask people not to give you updates. You need space and time to heal in a healthy way. If it hurts, it means you loved deeply, and that's beautiful. You will love and be loved again. Story 46. I have been keeping my mind distracted by consistently having background noise, being more active, and attending therapy. It has barely been a month since he broke up with me, and it has been rough. 5 years gone just like that. Story 47. You may not like it, but avoiding contact and distracting yourself are the only things that will help you through a heartbreak. Story 48. I coped by taking up running, not for fitness, but to escape all reminders of them. Turns out you can't hear your heartbreak over the sound of wheezing. Story 49. Friends and music foster reflection and a growth mindset over time. Remember, it's not your fault. It is their decision not to choose you each day. Story 50. They say that time heals a broken heart, but time has stood still since we have been apart. Your absence has gone through me like a thread through a needle. Everything I do is stitched with its color. In my experience with heartbreak, a breakup of a long-term 7-year relationship and the death of a best friend and a parent, I have found that time, as everyone advises, has not been a cure. Sadly, pain is something you can get used to and continue despite it, but I feel forever changed. I'm glad to read that others have had much better experiences. Story 51. What helped me was realizing that I do not want to depend on external factors to feel positive emotions like happiness and love. So I started looking for those things within myself, nurturing self-love and love for what I do, and focusing on that truly helps make a breakup feel less painful. Everything happens for the best. Story 52. Time. It's a cliche, but time heals all wounds. I tried everything. Retail therapy, medication, rebounds, anger, and other distractions. Only time did the trick. Story 53. For me, routine helps the most. That being said, it is okay to let yourself relax, rest, and take a day off occasionally. Story 54. This TED Talk about heartbreak is somewhat useful. The speaker has a book as well. Story 55. When I miscarried, I felt like I had been dropped into the deepest part of the ocean. My family dove in and brought me back to the surface. Story 56. Live your life. Look forward and stop looking backward. To be honest, it will be hard in the early months. You will never forget it. It just becomes less painful as you create new memories. Story 57. My heartbreak is that my dog died. He was such a good boy, and I miss him so much. We got a 9-month-old puppy from a shelter on Saturday, and she has already helped me heal. I need that canine energy in my home. Story 58. The idea and hopefulness that something better is on its way. Just keep swimming, just keep swimming. Story 59. I understand it seems difficult and soul-destroying, but I used to go back to my ex until I had closure. I would beg him, text him, and chase him. I'm not proud of any of this. Until one day everything just stopped. Story 60. She left me with a 6-month-old puppy, and honestly, that helped. It was something warm and cuddly that I had to take care of. I am not advocating for getting a puppy to get over someone, but mine certainly helped me feel more like a normal human afterwards. Story 61. Time, of course. Support from good friends to check up on you. A dog to keep you company in your bed, in the darkness and loneliness. Giving up on finding anyone. And the biggest one, meeting someone new who is much better. Story 62. Grief takes time, but a rebound can shorten that time significantly. Be open about your feelings with anyone you meet. Story 63. As someone who recently reached the light at the end of the tunnel, the only way out is to let yourself feel all the difficult emotions that are coming up. Do not look away. Do not deny them. Do not suppress them. You need to experience the pain because if you turn away, you will continue making the same mistakes repeatedly. Be willing to acknowledge that your former partner contributed to the dynamic. This is significant for me, as I tend to accept responsibility for things not entirely within my control. Neither of you needs to be the villain, unless genuinely harmful events occurred between you. Story 64. Do not ask me. I am a man. I distract myself until it hurts less. It is not the healthiest method, but it mostly works. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.